So let's talk about the history of eugenics. Let's go back to the 1930s, 1940s, when Hitler used to call them the mentally enfeebled. And do you know what they did with those people? What they called merciful euthanasia. And before they did that, though, they made sure to experiment upon them so they could find a cure. Do you know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of all those companies that say that they want to find a cure for autism. That say that it would be better if there was a world where autistic people didn't exist. Something I vehemently protest, because I believe that all lives are beautiful exactly as God made them. But let's just go back even further. We can go back to the Romans, we can go back to the Greeks, when if a child was found to be weak or different in some way, do you know what they did? They left them off of a mountain. They left them at the top of the mountain, and if they survived, then maybe they weren't as weak as we thought they were, or they'd throw them off a cliff. Yeah. Because that's, not awful at all. And we still actually do it to this day, by the way. You could just ask the people in Iceland or in some other European countries where they said they have completely eradicated Down syndrome, trisomy 21. Do you know how they did that? By aborting those babies. They didn't eradicate shit. All they did is kill them. Because they thought to themselves, their lives matter less. Again, this is not an argument about abortion. This is the argument about saying whether or not a life matters because of the differences that life has. Now, if you're really going to sit here and make the argument that I should have empathy or sympathy for these people, then you're also going to have to make argument for the fact, and you're going to have to explain to your friends who have children with Down syndrome or, or have Down syndrome themselves, or who have a varying amount of other differently abled possibilities in life, you're going to have to explain to them why their lives seemingly matter less enough to the point that they should be aborted. That they don't have the right to exist. You're going to have to explain that to them. Why should I have empathy for people who decided it was just too hard? Why? Oh. Sound off again. Explain to me how that works.